To multiply exponential expressions and simplify completely. Here's example number 1. On this one you have coefficients that are with the x's now. So you're going to treat those the same as you do variables. You have a negative 2 exponent, so you would multiply it by the exponent on the 2, which is 1, and the same for the rest of those. So your first step is to multiply every exponent in the first expression by negative 2, including the integer 2. But you're not multiplying 2 by negative 2, it's 2 to the first power times the negative 2 power. So it should look like this. 2 to the negative 2 power to start off with, and then you distribute it to the rest, x to the fourth, y to the second, and then on the bottom you have 3 to the negative second, and then x to the negative second, y to the fourth. Again, that's from multiplying the negative 2 exponent by each exponent in this expression, and we come up with this. Then you do the same thing over on the right side, multiply through by the negative 1 on each exponent in this expression. So you would have 3 to the negative 1, 3 to the negative 1, and then x to the first, y to the negative 1, and then over 4 to the negative 1, x to the negative 1, y to the second. Now you can put x to the first power when you're doing your work. It's just in your final answer you can't put x to the first power. It would just be x. But we can put it in here since we're doing just the work right now. Alright, you want to simplify all of these negative exponents in this expression here. So look at the 2 to the negative 2 power. That's going to go to the bottom. 2 to the 2 power is 4. So you can go ahead and write that. That would be 4 on the bottom. Now you have 3 to the negative second. That goes to the top. 3 to the second is 9. You can go ahead and write that down. 3 to the second would be 9. It's not going to be 3 times 2. It would be 3 times 3, which would be 9. Yeah, and then when you go to your x's, you can do x to the fourth stays where it's at, and you're going to move x to the second up with it, and then we'll simplify these two on the next step. This comes from here up to the top. That's why we have x to the second there. These y's are both positive, so they're going to stay where they're at. So everything's positive in that one. Go to the other expression, do the same thing. You have on the bottom 4 to the negative 1. That means you're going to move it to the top and make it 4. And then this 3 to the negative 1 goes down to the bottom. Just becomes 3. Now you have x to the first and then an x to the negative first on the bottom. That's going to go to the top and be right beside it. You have y to the second on the bottom is positive, so it stays, and then this y to the negative 1 will go to the bottom right beside it. Now from here you can start simplifying. Keep your 9 and the 4 the way it is, and you have x to the fourth, x to the second. I'm going to have to squeeze that in here. That's x to the sixth, y to the fourth, and y to the second. Notice the highest power is on the bottom here, so that's where the y stays. 4 minus 2 is 2. Now go over to the other one and do the same thing. Keep your 4 and the 3, but up top here you have 2 x's, so that's x squared, and on the bottom y squared y is y to the third. Now before you do anything else, you can cancel on these. Notice that you're going to multiply these two together. So that means you can cancel diagonally with anything that comes up. 4 and 4. If you have 4's diagonally as coefficients, they just cancel out. They can be gone. Then look at the 3 and the 9. 3 goes into itself once, and into 9 3 times. So now you can multiply from left to right. You have a 3 x to the 6th, and then times x to the 2nd. And on the bottom, you have a y to the 2nd, and then you also have a y to the 3rd. The only thing left to do from here is to simplify it. So you're left with a 3 on top. X to the 6th, x to the 2nd is x to the 8th. And then on the bottom, y2, y3, y to the 5th. Work this one out, bring it up, and we have plenty of bonus problems, so you have plenty of time to work on this problem. There's no rush. Your first move is to distribute this negative 2 exponent to get 3 to the negative 2, x to the 2nd, y to the 4th, over 4 to the negative 2, x to the negative 2nd, y to the negative 6th. And on the right side, distribute the negative 3 exponent to get 2 to the negative 3, x to the 6th, y to the 6th, over 3 to the negative 3, x to the negative 12th, y to the 3rd. Now simplify by moving your negative exponents around. Here, this is going to go to the top and become 16. This is going to go to the bottom and become 9. On the top you have x to the 2nd. This x to the negative 2nd goes with it. The y to the 4th stays on top, and this will be y to the 6th on top. On the other side, you'll have this go to the top and become 27, this to the bottom and become 8. The top, you're going to keep x to the 6th, and x to the 12th goes with it. Your y's stay in the same spot. They're both positive. Now simplify where you can. We'll leave the 16 and the 9 alone, but up here you have x to the 4th and then y to the 10th. And we'll leave the 27 and the 8 by itself for right now. And then you have x to the 18th, and then y to the 6th over y to the 3rd is a y to the 3rd on the top. Now cancel out where you can. I'll use a yellow marker. You have 8 here into itself once and into 16 twice. 9 into itself once, into 27 3 times. That'll help you out when you go to multiply. So you have 2 times 3, which is 6, x to the 4th, x to the 18th is x to the 22nd. Y to the 10th, y to the 3rd is y to the 13th. And then on the bottom you have a 72. No, actually there's no 72 on the bottom. That's just canceled out. That's just a 1. And the only thing left to do is to write 6x to the 22nd and y to the 13th as your final answer.